I'm Michael. I'm lucky enough to be president and CEO of the Rodon Group. As Lisa said, we've been at it for 65 years. I've been there since about 2006 and came in to run our toy business, our next toy business, and then folded in our manufacturing business. And as part of what we think about a lot is future-proofing our business. So what I'm going to talk about a little bit today, how I think about succession planning, is really always thinking about the balance of what you're dealing with today and then what you're dealing with for the future. So what do you want your business to look like in a few years? Just a little bit of background of us. We're one of the largest plastics injection molders in the United States, 9001 certified. Since I created this slide, we added 10 presses. We have 128 presses now in our facility in Pennsylvania, about an hour from here. And we focus on really being your one-stop solution for things that are made of plastics. We make about 10 billion plastic parts every year for a variety of industries and compete globally by investing in automation and upskilling our employees. So for us in today's specific topic, is succession planning. It's for me really about our continual improvement process more broadly, and always thinking about how are you making that part of your process. It's not like some companies do this. They meet for strategic planning session or succession planning, and they put it off on the shelf somewhere, and they look at it sometime later, and we don't think that really works. So today, if you don't pay attention to anything else, this is the only slide you need to remember, and I can only remember like 5 things, so I only remember 5 things on here. And so then build a succession planning, which is really the future of your business, into the DNA of your business. Always ask yourself the question routinely. We ask ourselves every month, once a month, as part of our process, what do we want our business to look like in 3, 4, 5 years? For us, we think planning beyond 5 years is too murky. Too many things can happen. Maybe a global pandemic will happen in the middle. So I might change your plans slightly. So we look at it in those sort of, on average, 4-year cycles. And so by focusing on your talent now, who you have now, and then what kind of talent you'll need in the future, your business continues to grow and thrive. So a lot of people say this, our people are our biggest asset. And not everybody lives that. And so to live that for us is thinking about what our talent needs are today, what they're going to be in the future, and then planning, mapping out what they look like. So that's why I think of succession planning really as being the core of future-proofing your business. What that allows us to do is be competitive. So I want to talk a little bit about our competitive advantages, because when you do that, why should you do it? Why bother? We're all busy. Our most valuable asset is our time. So why bother doing any of this? For us, it allows us to have competitive advantages that we wouldn't have if we didn't think about the future in a routine way. So we're got a full staff of designers who are solving problems for many of the Fortune 1000 companies in the country. And we only are able to do that because we're trying to think about what their needs are in the future and then mapping our needs to their needs. Same thing for making our mold high-value manufacturing. It's part of really of your strategic planning as a business. What business are you in? Who are your customers? What's important to them? And then you can create your competitive advantages by focusing on the future of your talent. And that allows us to have all these other advantages that our customers rely on us for: quality commitment, 99.8% customer acceptance, inventory management, environmental management, landfill free, and the rest of it. So, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of businesses that people can do business with. And I'm always asking our team, why are they picking us? Because they can pick a lot of people. There's probably 3,000 molders in the country. Why choose Rodon? We don't have a brand name like, say a Honeywell or a Merck or somebody else. So as middle market businesses, and most people are middle market businesses, how do you distinguish yourself? What makes you different? Why do they pick you? We think that thinking about the future allows that to happen. So I'm not going to focus on this too much. We've got a lot. We can send this around anybody who's interested. Our formula for success really is in solving our customers' problems and making sure that we're vertically integrated so that when they come to us, we can do their design, we can do manufacturing, we can do their fulfillment, we can do their shipping, we worry about all of the things that are important to them. And so they sleep at night knowing they don't have to worry about us. So we try to be the strongest link in their supply chain, which is, especially today, when the supply chain is in the news every day, it becomes more and more important. And taps into a larger issue about if we're really going to make more things in the United States, how are we going to strengthen the domestic supply chain to make that happen. And we think succession planning is a very, very important part of that. So what is succession planning? For us, it's the strategy, part of our strategic plan, to pass on the leadership and knowledge from one group to another and give people a pathway forward from there so that they can understand where they're going, what cross-training needs to happen. It's about making our business more efficient. And it's really about, at the core of it, solving our customers' challenges. Because the more we solve our customers' challenges, the more we take off their plate, the more they want to use us, the stickier they become. And that also helps our own employee morale because they see a path forward. And so they're not thinking about, oh, I'm only doing this forever. And most people, and we built a culture where we think all our people want to grow in their roles. And so this gives them a chance to say, oh, here's where it goes. We've got 121 employees, every one of them is important. And where can they go over the cycle of their career? And we tend not to have a whole lot of turnover. We always have these people to retirement, with the exception of third shift. So always a challenge. But outside of third shift on the weekends, everybody stays. And for example, our CFO is actually retiring tomorrow morning. We've been planning for that over the last year and a half. The VP of our tour is retiring next May. We've been talking about that since last May. And preparing the teams so that they can come along and we won't skip a beat, because unless you want your business to die with you, that's okay if you do, we don't, then you need to start thinking about who are the people that are going to carry that forward, and how do you make that happen. So what does that mean from consideration set? What are the questions you're asking yourself if you're trying to do that? It's about talking to your employees, understanding where they are today, where they are tomorrow, and where you want them 4 years from now. And as you get people thinking about the future, then they start coming up with ideas that you would never come up with. And that allows them to feel like they're owning part of that process. It's pretty common sense stuff, right? If you have kids, if you make it your kid's idea, they agree. If you make it your idea, they don't agree, especially true for teenagers. So we try to make it as much as possible a collaborative process. I'm not saying we don't have the ultimate decision-making authority, of course we do, but having them be a part of the process and having them put their input in what they think the future of the business could look like allows us to have a richer vision together. What happens if you don't do it? Well, how many of us have said, oh, if this person goes, or she leaves, or she's sick, or she's on maternity leave, or he's over there, a certain part of the production stops. We don't want that to happen. So we're trying to constantly think about this as another form of insurance. Really. The more you're preparing your employees about the future, and the more they're thinking about how they can be part of that future, the more when stuff happens, whether good or bad, maybe something with the lottery has to be for that reason. I hate to hit my bus example. I'd rather they win the lottery. So those things allow you to have that kind of flexibility that really helps you as you're thinking about the future of your business, whether it's losing key employees or just retirement, which is going to happen. The one thing I haven't been able to figure out is how to solve the aging problem. I'm kind of relying on Elon Musk for that. He figures that out. But and then as a practical matter, what is that? What business are you in? It's a little bit different for everybody in manufacturing, but who are the critical roles? What are the critical functions that make you get product out the door every day? And start there, right? Because it's, the 80-20 rule guy works here too. What are the 20% of the things that drive 80% of your business? That's where you should be focused. And that's a place to start, right? I'm not saying you don't go to all the employees eventually, but if you haven't started this process, first step is what are the most critical roles for the organization? And then go think about the future of those roles. And then build a profile, right? Like, we're all talking about LinkedIn profiles all these days, and buyer personas and all those kinds of things. Who's your ideal for this role? Might not be the person in the role today, but that's okay. What's the ideal? You get the person there who's in the role. You need, in some cases, to shift people around. Ultimately, you need to make some changes. Maybe you do. This process makes your business better. It forces you to look at your business from an investor standpoint as opposed to from an operator standpoint. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is an investor's focused on the bottom line of your business. And I think if you own your business, you're running your business, you see your team in your business, you should be looking at your business as an investor. And that means what's driving the bottom line results. And that filters through to being who the key people are to go do that, and then making sure that they're able to lead in the future. And then after you do all of that, obviously obviously you're evaluating your candidates, you're looking at timing, you're looking at budget, you're looking at training and education required, and obviously obvious things that you need to do once you've got your right profile. Then you're assessing their needs and what training do they need. We touched on training here at the beginning of this meeting. Training dollars are available. So there's additional training that may be required, there's additional technology that may be required. All of that's going to take time and resources. And some of those resources are available for free or almost free in places like this council. So taking advantage of those resources is part of the process. And then once you've done all of that, you have a more detailed plan of moving from what your point is right now, point B, going through the goals and objectives, going through what's going to be the metrics for holding everybody accountable. Because at the end of it, you're doing this not just because you're a good person. I'm sure you're doing this because you're a good person, but because you want your business to grow and thrive faster than it would otherwise do so. So that's part of the development plan. And then you've got your implementation plan, which is more detailed metrics around every job title, every job description, flow chart, and etc. So once you've done all of those things, I think you sleep at night better. And I think that you tend to enjoy your day-to-day management better because you've got a path forward. Having a plan is, to me, just the best way to relax. Is that you've got a plan, you've got a path forward, and you've got an ability to carry on talent from generation to generation, which is, I think, ideally what we can all do together. So thank you.